Today I'm sharing with you how I do my business planning. Planning in a small business shouldn't be a complex or a really rigid thing. It needs to be something that can shift with your inspiration and when new opportunities come along, or just when life gets in the way and things don't go to plan. So I'm sharing today the 8 steps to my planning process that I follow myself and that I also teach within my membership. And this planning system helps you to stay focused on your biggest priority so you can actually make progress in your business that you can feel proud of, yet it's still flexible enough to allow you to change direction or catch up when you've fallen behind. Now, you're going to need your post-it notes at the ready because it's the post-it notes that are the secret to success with this. So I'm going to talk you through it. I'm Watkin of Selling from the Heart, and I teach heart-centered business owners how to enroll more clients and grow their business without resorting to manipulative sales and marketing techniques. At the very beginning of every year, I do my vision and planning for the year ahead. Now, I say vision and planning because the vision is a very important part of this process, but you could be watching this at any time of year. So I just want you to know it's never the wrong time to create a clear plan for your business. There's no rule that says you can't do it in February or in August. The important thing is that you gain the clarity and focus that comes from identifying your core priorities. Whenever I feel demotivated or a bit directionless, it's usually because I haven't done any planning for a while, because it's hard to get excited when you don't even know where you're going or how you're planning to get there. So let me share with you the steps that I follow to do my own planning and that I also teach inside my membership. Now, before I get into the steps, I just want to say that this process was in part inspired by the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. I absolutely love that book. It's such a brilliant reinforcement that trying to do too much and focusing on too many projects at once leads to us a huge amount of frustration, a feeling of lack of progress, and eventually burnout and possibly even giving up on it all. And this is why my planning process has been built around having just one core thing to focus on at any one time. It doesn't mean you're only doing one thing in your business, but it's always knowing what is that one thing that is the highest priority. Now, step 1 of this planning process is get your post-it notes ready. You'll need to gather together what you'll need to get into planning and creative mode. For me, that's a very large sheet of paper. I like a big A2 sheet that I can stick up on my wall and look at every day. And then a bunch of large and small post-it notes and something to stick it to the wall with. And then what you're going to do is divide that paper up into squares. So to begin with, write the name of your business at the top and write the year that you're doing the plan in or for, and then divide the paper up into 12 squares. So the first row will be a row of 3 squares, which represents the first quarter. The second row will be a row of another 3 squares, and so on until you've got 12 squares there. Now you want to leave some space along the bottom of the sheet, and I'll come on to why that is later on. Now, step 2 is to get clear on your vision. When I do this process with clients, I always begin with a visioning process to help them to tune in to their vision for their life and their business 3 to 5 years from now, because you then use this vision to guide the direction of the year to come. So for me, planning is a combination of having a big vision for what I want to achieve, also drawing on my intuition and my personal sense of what feels right for me right now, and then understanding the very practical steps that I need to take if I'm going to get there. And within my membership, we use the Business from the Heart pathway to show the typical milestones on a business journey. And of course, it is important to have those clear milestones so you can measure and celebrate your progress. Step 3 of the process, and this is a very important step, is to decide your overarching one thing for the period of time that you're planning for. So I teach this as a 12-month plan, But when you're much earlier in business, it can be hard to create a longer term plan because you're still experimenting, you're still figuring out what works, what you enjoy doing. And so you might choose to plan over a shorter time frame. But I'd say for your overarching one thing, don't go shorter than 6 months. And this is a clear goal that you want to achieve in your business. And you write this at the very top of the sheet, because this one thing that you've identified that you're working towards will guide all of your other decisions. This is the thing that if you were to achieve it, all of your efforts will be worthwhile, and that you will see knock-on benefits across your business as a whole. And that might be, depending on your stage of business, it might be to achieve consistent 5K months. It might be to put all of your business foundations in place and prove to yourself that you have a business that works. It might be launching your first membership and getting your first 200 members in. Now, knowing that one thing helps to focus your other activities. It helps you to identify your priorities, and it helps you know what opportunities to say yes and what to say no to. Step 4, now you're going to brain dump. You're going to get all of your goals and ideas, all of them. And you're going to write each one on a separate post-it note. All the things that you really want to achieve in the coming year. All the things that you know you really should be doing but you're not doing. All the things that you want to do because you're so excited by them. All the things that you have got on your projects and ideas list but you're not getting around to them. Everything, whether it's logical or crazy, it gets a post-it note of its own. And yes, there will be a lot, but that's the point. You want to get this spaghetti out of your head so that you can use this process to untangle and prioritize it. Step 5, you're now going to transfer those post-it notes onto your planner. And what you're aiming for, you've got 12 months of the year there. You might only be working as far out as 3, 4 or 6 months if you're more early stage in business. And you're aiming for 1 post-it note per month. That's the challenge. Now, it's not easy. It needs a lot of thought. It really helps to know what that overarching goal for the whole year is. So I've got some guidelines to help you do this. First of all, you put your holidays in, because if you're anything like me, if I don't plan them in advance, they don't happen. Then you put your most important projects or any fixed projects. So let's say that you've committed that you're definitely launching a podcast this year. Then that has to go in. For me, I launch my Get More Clients Saying Yes course once a year, usually in September or October. So that goes in. And then my delivery of that course goes in as my one thing the following month. And your aim here is to have just one key focus per month. There's a discipline to this, but what this allows you to understand is that you can't fit everything in your ideas bank into your business in the next few weeks. Trying to do too much at once is what leads to overwhelm and spinning your wheels. And instead, this way, you can see visually that you have a whole year ahead of you. So you can do things one by one and actually accomplish them, have them make a difference to your business before you move on to the next thing. And it also helps you avoid taking on too much, leading to overwhelm and frustration. And by doing it this way, I always know what my core focus is every month, and it helps me to protect those things that I've identified as being the highest priority in achieving my long-term vision. So if another opportunity comes along, however exciting it might be, I'm able to look at it in relation to that long-term goal and ask, if I say yes to this, is this going to help take me closer to my goal, or is it actually going to delay me or take me off in a different direction? So I've got a couple more steps to share that make this prioritizing process easier. Step 6 is to create your heartbeat. Now, the heartbeat or rhythm of your business is the stuff that needs to happen all year round, week in, week out, month in, month out, to keep your business on track. These don't go into the specific months because they're happening all the time. So I put my heartbeat in the bottom left corner of my sheet. So your heartbeat might include weekly sales calls and direct reach outs. It might be reaching out for speaking opportunities. For me, it's creating these videos and releasing one weekly. And this becomes the rhythm and heartbeat that happens all the time. So as an example, if you decide that you want to start using LinkedIn as a key marketing strategy, but you don't use it already, you might make it your one thing for the coming month to set up your profile and establish your strategy and routine. But once the routine is up and running, it will continue to happen week in, week out. And in that case, it moves into your heartbeat. Then the other secret sauce to help with prioritizing is step 7, and this is your future log. And this might actually be the best part of the plan altogether, because we all have a zillion ideas for all the amazing things we want to do in our business. And sometimes you see a new thing or you have a new idea, but if you're not careful, you can take on so much. And what happens then is that other areas of our life start to suffer. And yet for all the sacrifice, none of our projects actually get off the ground. So the future log is a set of post-it notes that sits at the bottom right corner of your sheet. And these are the things that you really want to do or you know are important, but they are not the thing that you have decided are your highest priorities because they've gone in the months above. So these are things that you haven't thrown out, you haven't dismissed, you haven't ignored, you're just acknowledging, if I want to do these other things that I've identified as being high priority, I can't do these at the same time, and they're going to wait in the future log. And of course, it's your plan. You have flexibility. At any point, you can move one of your items out of the future log, put it into a month and swap with what's in that month. So every month you've got one core priority that you know if you achieve that one thing, this is going to have the biggest impact on taking your business forward in the direction you want to go in. And then you have your heartbeat, which is the rhythm of the business, and you have your future log, which is all the things that are not priority right now, but you don't want to let go of. Once you've got your beautiful plan in place, you can stick it up on the wall so you can see it every single day. And I recommend once a month reviewing that plan because things change, new opportunities come along, life gets in the way, we get sick, the dog gets sick. Anything can happen, we can get thrown off track. And by reviewing it every month, you get to replan and redecide that one thing. And step 8 is accountability. So how can you be held accountable to actually sticking with and completing that important one thing every month? So in my Business from the Heart membership, we actually have small accountability pods to keep each other on track. And we have a thread in the Facebook group every month where our members publicly share their one thing for the month and then report back at the end of the month to let us know how they got on. So how can you create something like this for yourself? Perhaps you could form a small accountability pod with a friend. So I hope you have found this useful to get some insight into how I do my planning and how our members do their planning. If you've got a different system that works for you, do post in the comments below and let me know. And if you haven't yet got a clear plan for the next 3 to 6 months or for 12 months if your business is more established, why not block out some time in the next few days? Because it will pay dividends in renewed clarity and focus, not to mention that sense of pride and progress you'll feel actually seeing your business move forward. And if you would like to follow this process in more detail, it is baked into my Business from the Heart membership. And in fact, we have noticed that the members who commit to this planning process are the ones who thrive and get the best results. If you would like to find out more about the membership, check out the description below for a link to find out more. I'll pop a link in the description. And if you just want to get started learning more from me, you can sign up for my Create a Business You Love guide. You can sign up for that at katherinewatkin.com/guide. If you've enjoyed this video, please comment or give me a like. Let YouTube know you appreciated it. I always love to hear from you. Thank you, and I will see you soon.